Now that the building blocks of our story are assembled in the timeline, we can start making adjustments to the edit point to improve the flow and timing of the story, what editors often refer to as pacing. Press Shift-Command-2 to open up the timeline index pane. Select the first Texas 2 shot and zoom in. Close the index and play this clip by pressing the / key.
We win 90% of the battles. We just lose the war.
We're going to trim the tail of this shot. There are a number of methods Final Cut Pro gives you for trimming your clips. The first method, involving the selection tool, we already looked at briefly in the previous lesson. With your selection tool active, move your cursor over the edit point between the first Texas 2 shot and Confederate firing line 2. Depending on which side of the edit your cursor is over, the tiny film strip will indicate which side of the edit you are about to affect. To trim the out point of the first Texas 2 shot, make sure the film strip is pointed toward the left and click with your mouse. A yellow bracket appears along the edge of the clip, visually reinforcing the change you are about to make. Now simply drag with your mouse. As you drag, a tooltip appears showing you how many frames you are moving the edit point from its original location. Because you're either shortening or lengthening the clip, all clips to the right of the edit point are adjusted either earlier or later in time. If you drag far enough to the right, you'll eventually run out of media. When this happens, the selection bracket will turn red. Undo any changes you made by pressing Command-Z. You can also trim numerically. With the outgoing edit point still selected, let's remove 5 frames from the tail of this shot. Type -5 on your keyboard. In the dashboard, the number you typed appears in blue, along with a graphic showing you the side of the edit you're about to trim. Press Return. To play the edit around the current skimmer position, press Shift ? on your keyboard.
2, 1. We win 90% of the battles. We just lose the war.
Undo that last edit. You can also add frames to the outgoing shot. To add 10 frames, type +10 on your keyboard and press Return. If you want to nudge the edit point 1 frame at a time, use the comma and period keys. Holding down the Shift key when using comma and period will trim the edit 10 frames at a time. Using any of the trimming methods I just demonstrated, take a few moments now to trim this shot until you're satisfied with the timing. You can also trim from the head of a clip. Click the endpoint of the Confederate firing line 2 clip. Whenever you trim from the head of a clip, be mindful that positive numbers indicate you are shortening the clip and negative numbers indicate you are lengthening a clip. This may seem counterintuitive, but positive numbers always mean you are moving the edit later in time, and therefore subtracting frames from the head of a clip. And negative numbers always mean that you're moving the edit earlier in time, and therefore adding frames to the head of a clip. Again, take a few moments to trim the head of the shot until you're satisfied with the timing. In many cases, you'll want to create a split edit. A split edit, by definition, is any edit where the endpoint of the audio precedes the endpoint of the video, or vice versa. Having the video and audio cut at different times can often make your scenes flow more naturally while hiding the edit. In Final Cut Pro 10, creating split edits couldn't be easier. Move your playhead to the start of the Dave interview. We want to have him begin his line while the previous shot of the battle is still on the screen. In order to accomplish this, we need to have independent control of the audio and video portion of the clip. Make sure the selection tool is still selected, then double-click on the audio waveform to separate the audio. You can also press Ctrl-S to hide and reveal the separate audio. Move your mouse over the edit point of the video portion of the clip, and you'll see the now familiar trim icon with the film strip. Now move your mouse over the audio portion of the clip, and the film strip disappears. This visual is informing you that you can trim the audio apart from the video. Drag to the left to add frames to the audio. Drag until the tooltip reads -12 frames. Play the edit back.
We've done events like this in front.
Now we hear Dave say, while the video from the battle scene is still on the screen. The edit doesn't work because we extended the audio past the frames we deliberately cut out when making our initial clip selection in the event library. Let's undo that last edit. Now place your mouse over the edit point of the video. Make sure the tiny film strip is pointing toward the Dave interview clip and the yellow trim bracket appears along the left edge of the clip. Now drag to the right until the tooltip reads 20 frames. Because the audio and video are separated, Dave's audio automatically shifts to the left below the audio of the Confederate firing line 2 clip to create the split edit. Now press Shift ? To play around the current skimmer position.
We just lose the war.
We've done events like this in front of thousands.
By the way, if you want to change the pre-roll duration, choose Preferences from the Final Cut Pro menu or press Command-. Click the playback icon. Enter a new pre- or post-roll duration. You can also perform the split edit using your keyboard. Undo that last edit. Make sure the edit point is still selected, then type +20 on your keypad and press return. As you just experienced, creating split edits is crazy simple in Final Cut Pro X. Press Ctrl S to hide the audio. In a previous lesson, I discussed the value of connecting clips to the primary storyline. One benefit is that you can easily move a connected clip earlier or later in time without affecting the underlying or overlying clip it's connected to. As your project grows more complex, it's easy to imagine your timeline becoming cluttered with a lot of clip connections. This is why in some cases you may wish to flatten your connected clips to the primary storyline in order to clean it up. Locate the shoulder arms clip. Select it, then right-click and choose Overwrite to Primary Storyline from the menu, or press Option-Command-down arrow. The clip merges into the primary storyline, and the audio for the clip on either side of it are automatically moved to a lower position to accommodate it. What you just witnessed is one of the signature features of Final Cut Pro X called the magnetic timeline. No longer do you need to concern yourself about where other clips are in relation to the clip you're trying to move. You just move it, and Final Cut Pro will make sure the other clips get out of the way. Remember my highway of the future analogy? There are no lanes and no other cars to worry about colliding with. You simply drive. What you just accomplished in one click would have taken numerous clicks in a traditional track-based timeline. Let's clean up the look of our storyline. From the View menu, choose Collapse All Clips.